With game one of the 2023 WVU football season now in the books, let's take a look at the top 5 highest offensive player grades according to PFF in the game against the Nittany Lions. Let's go! What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Jordan Cruz back here with the Country Roads Webcast. And before I get into this video, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. If you would, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button on this video. Giving it a like will really help not only its performance, but future videos performances here on the channel. And if you're a West Virginia fan and you haven't already, be sure, hit that subscribe button. Helps us and it helps you, as it helps get more of this Mountaineer sports content out to Mountaineer Nation. Having said that, let's get into it. All right, so we did this last season, just going through after each game and sharing with you guys West Virginia's highest graded players on both sides of the football according to PFF's offensive and defensive player grades. And we'll kick it off first this year with the offense. So with no further ado, here are PFF's top 5 highest graded offensive players for West Virginia in the game against Penn State, starting at number 5 with an offensive lineman in Jaquay Hubbard, who came out with a 68.7 offensive grade in this contest. I think we saw Brandon Yates get the start ahead of him at right guard, but certainly saw the two still have a shared amount of snaps throughout the game there, and I thought you saw some good signs from both and wasn't expecting Jaquay Hubbard to be in the top 5 highest graded offensive players for West Virginia in this game, but the fact that he is, I think, bodes well for West Virginia. We know their offensive line is going to be a strength of this team, but that right guard spot is the one that we've looked at as the question mark, just because it's not solidified who's going to play there the most between Brandon Yates and Hubbard. But the fact that Hubbard grades out as one of your top 5 highest graded players, and he wasn't the one that ultimately started there, I think is only a good sign for the future of West Virginia at that position as they continue to try and lean on the interior of that offensive line with some of these inside zone runs to CJ Donaldson. That guard position is going to play a pivotal role throughout the West Virginia football season. So whether it's Brandon Yates or it's Jaquay Hubbard in there, West Virginia needs production from that position, and they got it in this game, as you see Jaquay Hubbard coming out as the 5th highest Mountaineer in the season opener with a 68.7 offensive grade. Then at number 4, we have the lone West Virginia wide receiver that you'll see in our top 5 player grades here following week 1, and that's Devin Carter. I think he stood out the most to the naked eye, and PFF's grades agree, giving him a 74.1 grade for the Mountaineers. And I thought he really did some good things, even a couple other plays that he had where he had beat the cornerback and they just missed him. And the cornerback that he was matched up against most of the time was Kalen King. And guys, that's one of the best cornerbacks in the entire country that he was up against. Going to probably be a first-round draft pick. So the fact that Devin Carter was able to create space against some of these Penn State cornerbacks when they were man-to-man against him can only be looked at as a positive for the West Virginia wide receiving room. I think what you got to do now is you got to develop some other weapons to go along with Devin Carter, who I think has shown he can be a threat here with this season opener, and hopefully he continues to improve throughout the season. But you got to throw in some other guys there that can do some damage too. And I would love to see us get a little bit more speed out there, wide receiver. Let's see E.J. Horton. Let's see Jashawn Polk. Let's try and take the top off the defense a little bit, because if we're going to run as much as we are, people are certainly going to load the box. So we're going to need to hit some of those deep shots, whether it be to one of those speedy receivers or whether it be to the man that had the best game here in game 1 in Devin Carter, the NC State wide receiver transfer. Really did some good things, over 5 catches, 90 yards, and he comes out highly graded on PFF because of it with a 74.1 offensive player grade. Next up at number 3, we've got C.J. Donaldson, the beloved West Virginia running back, and rightfully so. And I believe in game 1, he showed that he is much improved from a very standout true freshman season that was cut short due to injury, and hopefully that doesn't happen again this season, because I think the more of C.J. Donaldson that West Virginia has, the better the results will be for this team. You saw it on the beginning drive for West Virginia. They kind of leaned on him a lot in that opening drive, and I think you'll see them do that a lot throughout the season because he's just very tough to bring down, reads the holes very well, has gotten even better at that. Hopefully he's even better now at managing his body also and can avoid injury, because I think he's set for a lot of carries this season and probably going to be a mainstay here on our top 5 offensive player grades more often than not. I think we will see C.J. Donaldson, and I'm expecting an all-conference type of year from this Mountaineer running back, and it looks like West Virginia should have a good running game this season. When you're able to run for over 100 yards on a really good Penn State defense, a tough Penn State run defense, I think that is a good sign for the future of your rushing game for the 2023 season. I think it's going to play a big part in West Virginia's success if they're able to find a decent amount of it throughout this year. And of course, CJ Donaldson is going to be a big factor if that run game is successful, as he was in game one, coming out with a 76.4 player grade according to PFF as West Virginia's third highest graded offensive player. And then at number two, we can continue to talk about the run game because a lot of times West Virginia was running behind this man, and that is center Zach Frazier, coming out with a 78.0 offensive player grade to be the Mountaineers' second highest graded player in week one against Penn State. And I'm not surprised to see Zach Frazier here. I think he was here every single game last year, if I'm not mistaken. What I am surprised about, however, is that he's not number one. I expected him to be the highest graded Mountaineer, and he's usually near the top of this list. I think you'll see him a lot throughout this season, if not every week. There's a reason he's been an All-American preseason on a lot of different outlets, and a reason why he's going to be an all-conference player and an All-American at the end of the season too, probably, and going to play himself into an NFL draft pick. And I think West Virginia has one of the best centers in the entire nation this year. And when you have that and you have a good offensive line, you have potential to win games and be a good ball club. And I think West Virginia has that. And a lot of that credit goes to the offensive line and goes to Zach Frazier. You saw him highlighted by the commentators several times in this game against Penn State, as they should, because he is really making a difference for West Virginia on those inside runs, the goal line touchdown run from CJ Donaldson, all of those quarterback sneaks they converted. He helped play a big part in those, and of course he is the one that makes all the calls along that front as well, and really a team leader this season for the Mountaineers too. So big things for Zach Frazier coming on the horizon, and he put on a great performance to kick it off here in 2023 against Penn State. Second highest graded Mountaineer on offense with a 78.0 overall grade. And our number one highest graded Mountaineer following week one of the 2023 season is the West Virginia starting quarterback, actually. Garrett Green coming out with an 85.0 offensive player grade in the game against Penn State to come away with far and away, actually, the highest player grade the Mountaineers obtained offensively in this game against Penn State, according to PFF. And I think that Garrett Green really showed some good things. We know that he can do damage with his legs, and he continued that in this game and showcased his ability there. And I think that's going to continue to be a weapon for West Virginia even more as the season progresses. But he went over 70 yards rushing in this game, so that's something you like to see. And yes, he may have missed some throws, but I think the thing for me that really stood out was the way that he was able to kind of manage the game, not turn the ball over. That's one of the biggest positives that I came away from West Virginia offensively in this game. Looked like they really cleaned some things up. I know there were a couple penalties that hurt. I think there was a hold, and then, of course, the illegal procedure that brought back a good run when they were down 14-7 and really needed a kickstart a drive, and that would have done so. So there were some things, but overall I was impressed with Garrett Green not turning the ball over against a very talented Penn State defense, especially when we faced some third and longs and they really pinned their ears back and came after him. I thought he made some smart decisions when he got out of the pocket, whether it came to, just tucking it, getting a couple, and, living to fight another day and punting the football, or, even sliding down when people came his way and then he knew a sack was coming. Just throw his check down. Smart things like that are little areas where you can certainly see Garrett Green has improved his game, and we know the running aspect is there. And I think we saw him make some good throws in this game, even though he did miss some. So to me, the issue is just consistency. If he can get more consistent with his accuracy on some of those throws, I think he's going to be a really good quarterback for the Mountaineers throughout this 2023 season. Hopefully he just had a little bit of nerves, and that's why some of those were a little bit off. And we'll see him settle down this week against Duquesne, and of course continue that throughout the rest of the season. But nonetheless, not turning the ball over and doing the good things that he did offensively, scoring the rushing touchdown, earned him a very high grade here from PFF, as we see Garrett Green rated as the highest West Virginia player on offense in game one against Penn State, coming out with an 85.0 offensive player grade. So there you have it, Mountaineer Nation, the top 5 highest graded offensive players for the Mountaineers in the season opener of the 2023 season. How are you feeling about those 5 names? Did you expect to see someone else in there? Or how are you feeling about the performance of these 5 individuals? However you're feeling there, be sure to let us know down in the comments. We really appreciate those interactions as we continue to try and grow the Country Roads Webcast community throughout Mountaineer Nation. Having said that, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.